What is going on, guys? It is Ty with Crawl, South Dakota RC, and in this video we are going to be working on and running my Axial SCX10ii. I promise, it's an SCX10ii.
Our tie rod now.
Now, if you've been watching a lot of my shorts, that sounds funny. If you have been watching a lot of the reels that I've been posting to YouTube, then you'll see that I have this SCX10ii that is running an Element IFS2 on the front. This has quickly become one of my all-time favorite rigs, simply because it's different. Everything I have owned and ran over the last, 15 years has been solid axles. And to be able to get out and run something that provides a totally different driving experience has been very fun. Now, I have already put probably 30 some miles on this IFS, and while it is doing awesome, I did find some upgrades that I want to install on this thing. So in this video, we're going to install some upgrades, and then we're going to go check it out on the trails. All right, the upgrades we're going to be installing today are from Scale Metal Supplies. I found them on my search to find some upgrades for this thing. I've already installed their caliper kit, and I just shot the actual caliper in some tractor implement paint, and it turned out pretty good. I'm also going to be installing their bearing kit for the IFS2 steering rack. This comes with bushings initially, and there's some slop in there, and I'm hoping this will help get rid of that. But overall, it's just going to help with the longevity of this thing. I picked up the IFS2 steering link set as well. That's going to replace these plastic links down here. And then, a lot of guys are just running brass on the front of this, but this is kind of my high-speed trail truck. It does a little bit of everything. It's got trailing arms in the rear, IFS in the front, so I don't want a whole lot of weight. I want to keep it how it is. Plus, that IFS2 is already super heavy. So, I picked up the Scale Metal Supplies steering knuckle brace. This guy, I should have taken some shots before I shot him in black, but these had some really cool, beautiful welds on them before I hit it all with black spray paint. So we're also going to be installing this and just see how that affects the performance and the longevity of this thing. Like I said, it's been my favorite rig, so let's go ahead and jump right into the install. For those of you that are curious, this is the IFS2 system from Element RC grafted to the front of my SCX10ii. It's a little chaotic in here, don't pay attention. All I did was modify the main servo platform that you see here to fit the frame rails that curve of the SCX10ii. The Element frame rails are flat in here, so I had to put a little bit of a curve into this plate for it to fit. I had to take out the differential and flip the diff gears. There's a little piece of plastic I had to shave off. No big deal. Other than that, this thing went right in. We're going to go ahead and focus on taking apart the steering rack hiding back here and installing this bearing kit from Scale Metal Supplies. Hopefully, this is going to clean up a decent amount of the slop that I've had in the steering rack. While it's not super noticeable on the trail, considering, well, this is just a trail rig, it's something that when I saw these upgrades, I thought I really want to try them out. So we got this one right here. It is a little bit of a pain to work on everything, just like the real world stuff. All right, so we've got the cover removed. Everything looks like pretty nicely greased in here. And you can see how it works. You've got your bushings and your washers, and this plastic piece just slides along there, moves everything around with it. But we're going to be replacing the bushings in here with actual bearings. So we're going to go ahead and remove these two 2mm and 2 from each side. Now there's also bushings on the bottom side that I have to remove. So I wonder if I can get away without having to remove. There we go. So the kit itself comes with fast eddy flanged bearings. I'm going to go ahead and lay everything out. I noticed that in some of the install videos there's a little shim that goes between the two brass bushings. That wasn't on here. So I'm going to go ahead and install it without and make sure, hopefully everything works. But I'm going to get all my bearings laid out in the correct order they need to go before we start this. Alright, so I've got all my bearings laid out. So here's how it's going to go.
I'm going to put a washer on each side. We're going to take the flange bearings, and they're going to go with the flange face down. Get that on there. That is a tight fit, which is probably good. So each one goes there. Come on. There we go. Now our rack is going to go back on. Off camera, I did disconnect our actual tie rods just because we're going to replace those. But our rack's back on. Now we're going to install the normal bearings in there. So I'll get you guys on. And there we go. We are making like pretty much a bearing sandwich here. Next, we're going to take our flange bearings, this time with the flange face facing up. Just like that. We're going to take the washers, slip those on. I'll try and push everything down some. Washers. Now I have these tiny washers that I found, but here's the thing. I don't think I'm going to use them, only because my steering rack did not have them, and I'm just going to be putting it back exactly how it came out. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some Loctite. We got metal on metal going on here, and the last thing I want is for this to walk out while I'm on the trail, because that would be a pain to fix this. That on there. Bump you around. Alright, so I went ahead. Everything is installed. I've got a washer that did not come with the kit, but it also did not come with the IFS2 that I installed in here, just to take up the tiniest bit of slack. While this worked absolutely phenomenal, there was enough twist in this guy here that allowed this to push the flange bearing up and give me the tiniest amount of play. I went ahead and installed that other washer, and now there is almost zero play. I am going to throw a little bit of grease in here just to kind of help with the longevity of everything, but overall I am super happy with this. Next, we're going to be replacing our tie rod ends, well, tie rods, with these adjustable ones by Scale Metal Supplies. So we'll knock these out. I gotta go grab some hardware for that too. But I'm gonna go ahead and button this up and call it done. All right, we're gonna go ahead and install our tie rod now. So, god dang. As someone who can appreciate solid craftsmanship, specifically welds, you guys are gonna be really happy with the products from Scale Metal Supplies. I mean, the caliper alone is super cool. Let's see if you can see that. Just adds a whole new level of like detail. The gusseted knuckle brace looks really good. These tie rod ends look really good too. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt these up to our tie rack, and then I assume I'm gonna have to do a little bit of adjustment just to make sure I keep my alignment good. But let's go ahead and bolt this up. This way, once we have our tie rods installed, we can do a final tighten on the upper ball joint there. God, it is crazy to me how far RC has come since I got out of the hobby. Shoot, since I've gotten into the hobby 15 years ago. I mean, Camberg, so Camberg Racing, by the way, is a full-size off-road company. They designed this setup. This thing legitimately has an upper and lower ball joint. It has a pass-through upper control arm like you would see on like a real Toyota Tacoma. Just really cool scaleness coming into the hobby. And for me, this IFS setup was like a must-have as soon as I saw it. Just because I have been wheeling these little scale models as solid axles for years. So to see this pop up, I just was so ready to try something new and thought it was going to be really cool, but I didn't know it was going to be this cool. All right, there we go. So we have got the tie rod installed, we've got the steering rack installed, and we have the gusseted knuckles installed here. So I'm going to go ahead and get the front end back together, and I'm going to call this install Done. All right, our IFS2 system is back together. I am going to have to modify my bumper a little bit. I'm going to be running a different bumper, so I'm going to trim it up for how this all mounts together. But tie rods are on, knuckles on, got our little brakes, upgraded steering rack. So now we're going to go ahead and get a couple charged batteries and see what kind of a difference this stuff made. And we're just going to go have some fun. If you guys have any questions about my IFS2 setup on this Axial SCX10, just drop a comment. I'll do my best to answer it, and who knows, if there's enough traction, I'll go ahead and just show you guys, do a kind of little video about it. So let's go ahead and get loaded up.
All right, we are out here on the trails to test out the upgrades we put on the IFS2 setup. I am really excited. This is a fun little trail, and this is a fun little truck. It looks really good out here right now. So if you're just now like skipping through the video or something like that, looking for the running footage, we installed the ball bearing kit by Scale Metal Supplies in the IFS2 steering rack, the IFS2 rod ends, as well as gusseted knuckle braces. There we go. And some rotors. I threw on a couple other little odds and ends. We also have a Vanquish FT10 rear axle in here now, just to make it look more like a Toyota. But we got a beautiful foggy afternoon, so we're going to go ahead and put some miles on this thing. Oof. Alright guys, well my transmitter batteries died, so I'm going to have to call it an early day on this one. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little install and crawl. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I think that's going to be what I call this series. I want to give a big thanks to Scale Metal Supplies for actually producing upgrades for this thing. I could actually feel the steering was a lot tighter. Only thing I really need to adjust is my toe out. I like going fast with that thing down these little 2 tracks, so I want to be able to have some toe in to keep that thing a little straighter at high speeds. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next adventure.